everybody, and welcome back to Men's Day Out, India's only portal that discusses gender rights, but from the other side. Today, I'm happy to share with you that we have somebody with us, Ashwini Dubeji. Hello, Ashwini.
Thank you. Hello.
Ashwini ji is an advocate, and he has been instrumental, along with the BJP leader Kapil Mishra, in filing a PIL in the very unpopular Vishnu Tiwari case, which has been in the media since last 1 week. Let me give you a brief about Vishnu Tiwari case. This is a case where a man named Vishnu Tiwari was charged for rape when he was 23 years of age. 20 years later, in January this year, Allahabad High Court has actually acquitted him of the charge, saying it was not rape, but it was a property dispute, which kind of entangled him into a false rape case. What Kapil Mishra has done now, he's actually taken a step ahead through Ashwini Dubeji, and they have approached Supreme Court with a detailed PIL asking for compensation for Vishnu Tiwari in this case. So Ashwini, before I start, I just want you to give us a little brief background as to what prompted Kapil Mishra ji and you to take the lead to go ahead and file a PIL in this case.
Thank you, Arnath ji, for having me here and for such a wonderful discussion. The discussion which relates to the larger section of the society who are one to the other victim of these propaganda cases, as well as the atrocities where the personal disputes are turning into the landing the people, innocent people, in the jail. So from the very long time when I used to read the newspapers that certain people have been falsely implicated in Atrocities Act or the sexual assault cases or something, then it was coming to mind that why there is we can't have the gender neutral law, the law which talks about the every section of the society, be it the men, the women, or the transgender. So when we are talking about the 21st century, when we are running ahead, leading the world, then we also need the gender neutral law. And after reading the newspapers and other research, we came to know that the false cases are being filed. I was going through one report of Women's Commission, where more than 56% of sexual assault cases were filed which were fake or found to be fake, or where after the prosecution later stage found that these cases have been wrongly instituted. And we talk about the Vishnu Tiwari, the person who remained in jail, in custody, without any fault of him. And because of the strict law, the people like Vishnu Tiwari type of innocent people get trapped in these cases, and which leads to vague prosecution and ends with jail. And with this law is being misused and abused by filing fake and malicious complaints, and no action is taken against the culprit in the absence of effective statutory legal scheme for providing mandatory compensatory relief, because there is no law, and to prosecute the fake complainants pertaining to the special acts with SC/ST Act, Prevention of Atrocity Acts, fake sexual assault cases, as well as to provide the monetary benefits to the victim of wrongful malicious prosecution and incarceration of innocent. And the same also infringes their fundamental rights. So Kapil Mishra ji came 1 day before to my office, now coming to this point. And we discussed this, that look, what has happened to Vishnu Tiwari. And then he said that I want to do something for Vishnu Tiwari. It was before 1 day filing the case. He said, then why can't we file this case? I said, yes, we can file it. Immediately we prepared, and next day we filed it. And that too, when somebody from ruling party and young leader is coming forward, who is very vocal, known as a vocal person, and speaks fearlessly, is coming forward and taking this cause. So it was a wonderful opportunity. And the opportunity, because if somebody is in Bharatiya Janata Party, as you said, and a prominent face in the Bharatiya Janata Party, and coming forward in asking to make a law, it means it is a news which will be when a debate will start. So let us start it. So I prepared it, and very next day I filed it. But before that, our elder brother, Mr. Ashwini Upadhyay, who is pioneer into filing public interest litigation, he has already filed a petition through me only for wrongful prosecution. But that was a larger issue, where the Vishnu Tiwari the case was not largely covered, because what we see that if somebody has come out after spending 20 years in the jail and newspapers have reported, National Human Rights Commission has taken cognizance of it, then it is a case where everyone has a sympathy to this. So if Vishnu Tiwari is a pioneer or role model, a person or victim, where we can say to the court that, look, this man has spent 20 years of his age in jail because of the false case, and there are so many cases. So there is a need to revisit these laws, or the Supreme Court, being the custodian of the Constitution, may make a law as per which the similar action may attract if any complaint is found to be fake or vague or instituted on the basis of to settle their personal disputes. So that was the one day before we decided. We decided the prayer. We read the Law Commission's report, also gathered certain information, read certain provisions of the Constitution, and thought that let's file it to the Supreme Court. And because I'm a Supreme Court practitioner, so being a Supreme Court practitioner, we are privileged that we can take up this issue and we can ask your lordships that, look, this is happening in the society. And from time to time, they have come forward. The honorable judges have come forward and always taken a cause for the society. So with this hope that something will happen, something good will happen, some change will happen in the society, I find it.
Right. It's wonderful to hear this from you, because as you rightly said, at least a debate will be initiated, especially when it is coming from the ruling party. Otherwise, if you see in the last one decade, nobody is really discussing about gender neutral laws, especially when we talk about men. Taking forward from there, what I want to ask you is, when you say compensation, what kind of compensation do you think will be just to give fair justice to Vishnu Tiwari? Would it only be monetary compensation, or would it also be some kind of respect that we can get back to this person in society? Because once you are labeled a rapist, to remove or eradicate that tag is extremely difficult or next to impossible. So what is your take on that?
With all solidarity with the Vishnu Tiwari and other people who are landing in jail because of these false cases, of course, the money cannot compensate. The money cannot compensate the loss of life, loss of his family members, loss of his brother, the mother, and other things which he has suffered in the jail. But yes, by getting some good, adequate monetary relief, and that too when by virtue of making a law by the state. When a state make a law, if somebody will face the fake and malicious prosecution or the vague prosecution, then at the same time, if he comes out with honor from the courts, and acquittal is done, then on the basis of that, the person who has implicated, be it with the prosecuting agency, be it may the complainant, or be it may the state, if somebody lands in jail in a false case for certain period, then he has to be paid, because money is the only thing where you can compensate. Rest of the things, if you talk about the prosecution, suppose if somebody will land in jail, then Vishnu Tiwari's days have gone. The people like Vishnu Tiwari, if they will come out, that will not. But if you put certain things, that monetary relief will be given, that too from the pocket of the person who has maliciously instituted a case. So that will pinch one. And at the same time, what is the need of the hour? That wherever these cases are found that these have been maliciously instituted, then same responsibility, same kind of punishment be put on the complainant, fake complainants, and that will only talk about the equal justice system in the society. That only we can restore that equality, justice before the law, as well as the Constitution says that everyone is equal, that equality may prevail. So only thing is, this time the monetary benefits where he can start his rest of the life with all dignity, but at the same time, our demand is that those persons who have instituted these malicious prosecutions with prejudiced mind against somebody should also be prosecuted. And there is a need of the hour that a law should be made and framed at the same time, be it the case of sexual assault or against the Atrocities Act. Because it is not only the sexual assault or rape, it is the case of atrocities as well, where a person has misused the law which has been made to protect the dignity of certain class of the person. Those laws have been misused and abused. That is why the money is the need of the hour. At the same time, we are asking that the government, Supreme Court, ask the government of India to frame a law where the person who instituted the false case should also be prosecuted, and similar punishment should be awarded. That can only balance the society.
Right. In this particular case, for the PIL that you have filed, you have made the state accountable. Do you have any idea where the girl and her family is as on date? Is there any possibility to hold those people also accountable in this case?
Of course, anyone whosoever misuse, abuse the process of law should be held accountable. And this is the only equal justice delivery system says. Nobody should go without any facing prosecution if institute the case to settle personal responsibility. We have read that on the basis of that false case, the lady who implicated Vishnu Tiwari has also taken compensation. Not only the lady, but the agency, the investigating agency, the police, because it is not only the false case where the state machinery has also been misused. Somebody's trial happened in the court, judge's time, prosecutor's time, state's time, everything has been wasted. So here, everyone whosoever is directly or indirectly indulged in this case or involved in this malicious case should be held accountable. And that is the need of the hour.
And I think in this way, you are also trying to seek justice for the real victims of rape. Because as you rightly said, there is an entire state machinery which is at task. And if they are running behind these fake cases for years, trying to, kind of frame somebody in a false case, then the real victims are also going to suffer extensively.
One thing, we cannot rule out that there are sufferers as well. We cannot rule out that everything is not fake. To some extent it is fake, and to some extent it is real. But whose responsibility? Responsibility lies on the shoulder of the courts. Responsibility lies in the shoulder of the prosecuting agency. Responsibility lies on the police. They have to make the truth that the law says. When any FIR is registered, the prosecuting agency, the investigating agency is duty bound to bring the truth by virtue of an order. That is what after the evidence is laid. Nobody can be called as convict unless and until a trial takes place. Here in this case, what High Court has found, that a pregnant lady, where there was no symptoms, or would we say that primary evidence which can establish that rape has happened, was found that the trial court was wrong in awarding punishment, the harsher punishment to Vishnu Tiwari. Trial court should have applied his mind at that point of time that, look, these ingredients are missing in this case, and therefore Vishnu Tiwari is wrongly implicated and he is released or he is acquitted. But trial court missed it. Now the matter reached to the High Court. That matter was pending in registry for 16 years. Just imagine. When he came out, the entire world was changed. When he went in jail, there was no mobile. When he came out, we started arguing through Zoom, and we are discussing this thing on Zoom. So it's all new things for him. He could not see this son, a person who spent 20 years, died. His father died. He could not get relief to go and cremate his father. Just see the irony of the society, grudge of the society, and misuse of the law, that he could not see his father. He could not see his mother. They died. His brothers died. And nobody, I was going through the interview of his younger brother. Younger brother says, since this matter where we were socially boycotted by the villagers or the other people. Yani social boycott jo hua, you see, the irony is, and nobody was able to, what the society is, a person was convicted in false case, an entire family was boycotted. So what justice system needs to be? The justice system needs to be where every person should live with dignity that the Constitution says. And what I feel, the politicians make law keeping in view their political interest. But Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court is custodian of the Constitution. Honorable Supreme Court see with regard to the justice system and justice delivery system, what it says. So whenever there is miscarriage of justice, the courts have always come forward. And that is what we want, that the Honorable Supreme Court, being the custodian of the Constitution, should come forward and make a mechanism, or direct the state government to make a mechanism where these kind of fake cases can be cured. And innocent should not suffer. This is what we want. And he is admittedly Vishnu, not only Vishnu Tiwari. There are so many, because you are fighting. Men's Day Out is also fighting for the people who are sufferers of these draconian laws. So you are also fighting. So people like you should come forward more and more. When I start debate, the debate which we are having, that debate must happen, start in the society. और जब तक सोसाइटी में डिबेट नहीं होगा तब तक इस पर बात नहीं बनेगी. एंड पॉलिटिशियंस शुड आल्सो कम फॉरवर्ड, बिकॉज व्हाट दे हैव मेड, their Supreme Court passed that order, very order, that if any case is instituted against anybody, against the Special Act under Atrocities Act, then first that has to be inquired into. This is the law. Law only says, criminal jurisprudence says. But what the parliament says, no. When the complaint is filed, the police is duty bound to register the FIR, and compensation should also be given under the Atrocities Act. It means the fake cases की बाढ़ आएगी क्योंकि compensation मिलेगा उनको. And nobody bothers about what will happen in future. तो एक बार अकाउंटेबिलिटी अगर फिक्स होगी, then of course we can reduce these kind of face cases. And people like you जो समाज को आईना दिखा रहे हैं, आप लोग बता रहे हैं, at least आप लोग you are coming with the research, you are having discussion, openly discussion. बाकी तो लोग इस बारे में बात भी नहीं करते हैं. Moment you start talking against anybody, a particular section, तो आपको तो neglect कर दिया जाता है सोसाइटी में. सो कॉल्ड पोस्टर्स बना करके आपको तो पूरा नेस्तनाबूद कर दिया जाता है. सो इस चीज से निकलना पड़ेगा. एंड मोर पीपल लाइक यू शुड कम फॉरवर्ड. मैं तो कहता हूं कि आपको और एनर्जी मिले और पावर मिले.
Thank you very much. I think you have summed it up very well, because I think the crux of the matter is there has to be some fear, some deterrent in anybody who dares to file a false case, be it rape or sexual harassment. It should not be an easy way out ki, you know, you just file a case or chalo kuch nahi hoga, you know, you pay 1,000 rupees fine and you are there to frame somebody else again. So on this note, and before we started this interview, off the record, I was sharing with you that through this PIL, I think you are going to get blessings of a lot of people who have been suffering in these false cases. Do you have one last word for those people if they are getting trapped in such cases? As you said, it's not just that the person, but his entire family who is boycotted from society. Do you have some advice to those families today?
Bilkul. That I would say that whenever these kind of fake cases somebody finds, it's message to the society, not only the family. Victims are the sufferers. Victims are the sufferer. I am telling you, I have seen the cases where fake rape cases were instituted. One person came to me. He said, I have given my land. I have given my property. But despite that, my brother is not coming out. He has been implicated falsely. Nothing has been found, but he is landing in jail. तो विक्टिम से तो वी कैन नॉट एक्सपेक्ट कि वो सामने आकर के कहेंगे, क्योंकि उनका पूरा अपने परिजन को, अपने परिवार के लोगों को बचाने में समय लगेगा. बट यस, पीपल लाइक यू, पीपल लाइक मी, हमारे जैसे जो लोग हैं, जो यूथ है सोसाइटी के, जो अवेयर हैं, दे शुड कम फॉरवर्ड, दे शुड रेज वॉइस. देयर आर मेनी वेज टू रेज वॉइस. ट्विटर है, फेसबुक है, लिंक्डइन है, सोशल मीडिया है, को है, तमाम ऐसे एप्लीकेशंस अवेलेबल एंड वेयर यू कैन रेज वॉइस अगेंस्ट द इनजस्टिस. और नीड ऑफ द आवर इज कि जब आप इनजस्टिस के खिलाफ पब्लिक ओपिनियन बनाते हैं, जब आप इनजस्टिस के खिलाफ बात करते हैं. हाउ वी केम टू नो अबाउट विष्णु तिवारी? बिकॉज विष्णु तिवारी वाज रिपोर्टेड इन न्यूज़पेपर्स. Vishnu Tiwari was covered by the media channels. Vishnu Tiwari was covered by people like you. That is a Men's Day Out. That is why I came to know that Vishnu Tiwari is a person who was in jail, landed in jail for 20 years. तो आप जैसे लोग विष्णु तिवारी की ताकत बने, स्ट्रेंथ बने. उसी तरह से जब कोई रॉन्गफुल प्रोसिक्यूशन का, मैलिशियस प्रोसिक्यूशन का विक्टिम हो, रॉन्गफुल क्रिमिनल का, जस्टिस डिलीवरी सिस्टम का विक्टिम हो, तो हमारे जैसे लोगों को उनकी आवाज बन के आगे आना चाहिए. एंड व्हाट वी टॉक अबाउट, वी शुड टॉक अबाउट द इक्वालिटी, वी शुड टॉक अबाउट द जेंडर जस्टिस, वी शुड टॉक अबाउट द इक्वालिटी बिफोर द लॉ. कि साहब अगर गलत केस होता है तो गलत केस करने वाले के ऊपर भी इक्वल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लाई करे, तभी इस तरह के केसेस को रोका जा सकता है. नहीं तो होता क्या, प्रमोशन को लेकर के नहीं होगा क्या, सिलेक्शन को लेकर के नहीं होगा क्या, एडमिशन को लेकर के नहीं होगा क्या, जमीन को लेकर के नहीं होगा क्या, किसी भी बात को लेकर के, पर्सनल दुश्मनी को लेकर, पिता के झगड़े को, भाई के झगड़े को, दैट विल कन्वर्ट इनटू सम अदर थिंग वेयर आई डोंट वांट टू कोट. तो सोसाइटी में जब भी रोहतक ब्रदर्स का, रोहतक में जो हुआ, जिनको अवार्ड भी ले लिया, वो झांसी की रानी लक्ष्मीबाई और जाने क्या क्या उनको उपाधियां दे दी गई, और अल्टीमेटली व्हाट हैपेंड एट लास्ट, ही वांटेड टू जॉइन आर्म्ड फोर्सेस. एंड सी द आयरनी, डिस्पाइट being honerated from the court, despite being acquitted from the court with due respect, he could not secure the job. आप समझिए इस सोसाइटी में इसलिए जरूरत है कि इस तरह के केसेस को रोके, और जब कभी भी कहीं कुछ हो रहा हो, इट्स ड्यूटी ऑफ द यूथ, युवाओं को हमेशा से, जयप्रकाश नारायण जी ने भी तो उसी समय के सिंहासन खाली करो कि सरकार माने जनता आती है, वो उसी तरह से यूथ को, लोगों को अपनी बात कहनी पड़ेगी, और जरूरी नहीं है कि हम प्ले कार्ड लेकर सड़क पर ही उतरे। There are many ways to raise voice. अभी विष्णु तिवारी के लिए बाहर लगी हुई है, लेकिन विष्णु तिवारी खत्म नहीं होना चाहिए, ये भी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। यानी विष्णु तिवारी का एजेंडा तब तक नहीं खत्म होना चाहिए, ये बात तब तक नहीं खत्म होनी जब तक कि विष्णु तिवारी जैसे लाखों लोग जो जेल में बंद हैं उनको जस्टिस ना मिले या जस्टिस को उम्मीद ना मिले। We must come forward, and all thanks to you that you have organized this wonderful discussion.
Thank you very much, Kini ji. And we are a very small portal. We try our best, as many stories we can put out. But all our hopes are on people like you who are there in the court to take this forward legally. And we wish you good luck and look forward to hearing some good news on this PIL soon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Okay.